Good afternoon. Regular meeting number 45 will now come to order. Please stand for the playing of the national anthem. Please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God,
and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you could remain standing, I'd like to invite Pastor Nancy Day Acquier from St. Mark's Methodist Church. Pastor Nancy, to lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. O Holy One, may your wisdom prevail on this gathering. Give us clarity of purpose and purity of intention. Keep us mindful of those we serve. Help us discern ways the people of Columbus can work together towards a future of community prosperity. Empower us to do all the good we can in all the ways we can so everyone can experience opportunities for the abundant life you offer. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Nancy. Clerk, call the roll.
Brown, Hardin, Page, Stinziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal? Clerk, call the roll.
Brown, Hardin, Page, Stinziano, Tyson, President Klein.
This week's communications received by the City Clerk's Office. They're listed on the agenda to be published in the City Bulletin. Are there any other communications to be read into the record?
Not at this time.
How about resolutions from members of council? Councilmember Elizabeth Brown.
Thank you, President Klein. I do have a resolution tonight. If Reverend Nancy Day Acquier could please come back. Sorry to make you sit. So as I read the title of the resolution, the Reverend will please approach the podium. I am offering Resolution 0240X-2017 to recognize the importance of community engagement, grassroots activism, and local action in the effort to address substance abuse in Columbus during National Recovery Month. Last week, President Pro Tem Priscilla Tyson introduced a resolution declaring September National Recovery Month and recognizing Mary Haven for the behavioral health services they provide. Recovery is a process that involves various support systems, including treatment and recovery service providers like Mary Haven, family, and community. So this week, I'm very happy to welcome the Reverend Nancy Day Acquier to City Council as we highlight your efforts, the efforts of the United West Side Coalition, and the efforts in communities throughout the city of Columbus to identify and mobilize grassroots resources that contribute to the overall effort to address substance abuse. This includes providing prevention and education programs, naloxone distribution, increasing the availability of stabilization, treatment, and recovery services, at mental health and recovery services. It also includes celebrating those who have recovered, as your event yesterday did, brought together folks on the West Side to celebrate those who had overcome their addiction. In the face of the opiate epidemic affecting Columbus and the country, all resources must come together, government at all levels, as well as private and nonprofit sectors. But without the dedication of residents and community leaders, neighborhood by neighborhood, we can't fully address the crisis. Thank you for being here with us this evening, Reverend, and thank you for all the work you do in the community. Are there any comments from my colleagues before I move for adoption? All right, I move for adoption.
Second. Clerk, call the roll.
Brown, Hardin, Page, Stinziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Nancy, the microphone is yours.
For the past 2 years, I've been focusing my time and energy and passions on prevention and education and naloxone distribution. So I've been doing a lot of bad news events, a lot of the hard stories that need to be shared, because the opiate epidemic is bad news. And the problem with doing nothing but sharing bad news is we all not only get pretty depressed about it, we forget that recovery is possible, that our lives are not defined by addiction, that people can find hope. National Recovery Month is an opportunity for us to be intentional about celebrating the lives that have been transformed, the new life that happens in recovery. But equally important, it gives hope, because those who suffer from addiction, their friends and their families, are often losing hope. I know my family needs hope. My younger brother has suffered from addiction his entire adult life, and he's 54. Methamphetamines is his drug of choice. He deals drugs to earn a living. So my family also needs hope. I hope that next year my brother will be at our Recovery is Possible event, and that he can celebrate with us that there is life after addiction. Recovery is possible, because we need to give everyone hope. Thank you so much, Councilmember Brown, for lifting up this important event, along with Councilmember Tyson, who did last week. It is so important for us to all remember that there is hope. Thank you.
Nothing. Nope. Thank you, President Klein. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Department of Public Utilities to announce the creation of a new customer portal that will provide customers a paperless electronic check and billing option. E-checks offer the added security of not having to mail a check for bill payments and allow customers to make one-time or recurring payments without having to pay a convenience fee. Customers will also be able to submit billing inquiries and view past bills to better track usage and costs. For more information, I encourage those today or watching on TV to go to the department's website, columbus.gov/utilities, for more information. Thank you, President Klein.
I do have one resolution. It's 241X-2017 to recognize September 15th through October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month in honor of the contributions by Hispanics to their communities. Can I get a motion for adoption? Second, clerk call the roll.
Brown, Brown, Harden, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Is Sandra Carrillo here? Sandra, welcome. Sandra, you're here on behalf of Latino Mentoring Academy?
That is correct.
Yes, so we have resolution. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President Klein and members of City Council. I am Sandra Carrillo, and I'm here as Program Manager of the Latina Mentoring Academy, and it is with great pride that I accept this resolution on behalf of all Latinos in Columbus, but also my hermanas of the Latina Mentoring Academy. Like many organizations present here today, like the Hispanic Chamber of Columbus, the local chapters of the Hispanic National Bar Association, as well as Alpha Psi Lambda Incorporated, the LMA aims to promote the development of Latina talent here in Columbus. To date, we have graduated 7 cycles, which relays into the impact of over 170 professional Latinas here in Columbus, and we've also expanded our programming this year to include a community-based component, which allows us to reach more professional women, not just Latinas. Our successes would not be possible without the support of our elected officials, and for that we thank you for recognizing the importance of Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are there any comments by our elected officials, the auditor, Treasurer's Office, City Attorney's Office, anyone here from the Judiciary? Seeing none, at this time I request that 2348-2017 and the Health and Human Services Committee be removed from the consent action portion of the agenda. Are there any other requests by members of council for the removal of ordinance from the consent action portion of the agenda? Seeing none, may we now have a motion to waive reading of titles of 30-day legislation by the city clerk? Clerk, call the roll.
Brown, Harden, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Thank you. Clerk Blevins, will you now read into the record the ordinance numbers of 30-day legislation on tonight's agenda for first reading?
Yes, Economic Development Committee, Ordinance 2349-2017. Public Service and Transportation Committee, Ordinance 2044-2017. Recreation and Parks Committee, Ordinances 2296 and 2297-2017. Public Utilities Committee, Ordinances 2198, 2200, 2250, 2288-2017. Judiciary and Court Administration Committee, Ordinance 2290-2017. Rules and Reference Committee, Ordinance 2350-2017.
Okay, we're going to stand by. I don't have my list of speaker slips yet to make sure we have first reading speakers. That's fine. Okay. We're going to go ahead and go to the consent action. If you did sign up for a first reading, we will come back after the clerk reads the consent action portion of the agenda. So clerk, I'm going to ask you to read all those items designated as consent.
Resolutions of expression 239X, 242X, 243X, 234X, 237X, 244X, and 245X-2017. Finance Committee, Ordinances 1270, 1854, 2175, 2218, 2268, 2310-2017. Health and Human Services Committee, Ordinances 2169, 2300-2017. Economic Development Committee, Ordinances 2145, 2217, 2241, 2311, 2312, 2419, 2500-2017. Administration Committee, Ordinances 2183, 2184, 2185-2017. Public Safety Committee, Ordinances 2117, 2243, 2308, 2318, 2345, 2356-2017. Public Service and Transportation Committee, Ordinance 2140-2017. Recreation and Parks Committee, Ordinances 1902 and 2359-2017. Housing Committee, Ordinance 2422-2017. Technology Committee, Ordinances 2199 and 2209-2017. Public Utilities Committee, Ordinance 1688, 1911, 2043, 2055, 2058, 2060, 2084, 2114, 2149, 2156, 2160, 2163, 2170, 2194, 2197, 2212, 2213, 2224, 2225-2017. Judiciary and Court Administration Committee, Ordinances 2265, 2282, 2319, 2320-2017. Appointments from the Mayor's Office numbered A0166-2017.
Thank you, Clerk. There are no first reading speakers, and are there any no consent action portion of speakers either? Seeing none, any questions or comments from my colleagues regarding the consent action portion of the agenda? Seeing none, can I have a motion for approval for those items designated as consent? Clerk, call the roll.
Brown, Harden, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
We'll now proceed with the second reading of 30-day tabled and emergency legislation. The first committee is the Finance Committee. It's chaired by the President Pro Tem. President Pro Tem, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I have Resolution 0223X-2017 is to accept the amounts and rates by the Franklin County Budget Commission for the city's tax budget for 2018 and to declare an emergency. This action will allow the City of Columbus to receive local government funds, which are monies collected by the state of Ohio and distributed through the counties. The tax budget also establishes the 2018 property tax rate for Columbus residents. The rate will remain the same and has not increased in over 61 years. Auditor Dorian, would you please like to make some comments on this resolution?
Yes, Madam Chairwoman and all council members. This is the annual confirmation by the city to the county auditor as to what the property tax rates will be for next year in the city of Columbus. They remain the same rates with no increases or no changes for that matter. So this is true for the past 60 years or better, and I ask you to approve the ordinance, and we will see that it's conveyed to the 3 county auditors, Franklin County, Delaware County, and Fairfield County. So thank you.
Thank you, Auditor Dorian. I would now move for adoption of the resolution. Second.
Brown, Hardin, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Thank you. The next ordinance, I'm sorry. Thank you. The next ordinance is 2229-2017 to authorize the Finance and Management Director to establish various purchase orders for automotive parts, supplies, and services for the Fleet Management Division per the terms and conditions of various previously established universal term contracts, to authorize expenditure of $1,650,000 from the Fleet Management Operating Fund and to declare an emergency. And again, this $1.6 million will be used for parts and services related to city vehicles. I will now ask my colleagues for approval and move for passage.
Brown, Hardin, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Thank you. I'd now like to move to Health and Human Services. Thank you. If you'd please turn to page 6 on the consent agenda. It is ordinance number 2348-2017. It's to authorize and direct the Board of Health to accept a grant from the Ohio Department of Health in the amount of $312,184 for the Maternal and Child Health Grant Program, to authorize the appropriation of $312,184 from the unappropriated balance of the Health Department's Grants Fund, and to declare an emergency. This legislation will focus on, maternal and child care health. It will address high smoking rates, especially among pregnant women, the high rates of overweight children in Franklin County, high infant mortality rates with significant racial disparities through the Columbus, Ohio Equity Institute project, and the high incidence of sleep-related infant deaths. The funds will also support Columbus Public Health's fatal infant mortality review program and transportation needs assessment, focusing on the accessibility of the Franklin County WIC clinics. And I would move for passage.
Brown, Hardin, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Thank you. That's all I have on my committees this evening.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. The next committee is Economic Development. It's chaired by Councilmember Elizabeth Brown. Chair Brown, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Klein. Tonight, in Economic Development, we have 2 ordinances. The first is Ordinance 2252-2017 to authorize the Director of the Department of Development to enter into an enterprise zone agreement with 93 OHRPT LLC, Ronald Benderson 1995 Trust, and Benderson 85-1 Trust, doing business as Benderson Development Company, for a tax abatement of 75% for a period of 10 years, consecutive years, on real property improvements in consideration of a proposed capital investment of approximately $8,032,500 for new building construction. This ordinance authorizes the Department of Development to enter into an EZA for a project involving the construction of 2 100,000-plus square foot light industrial facilities that represent a total capital investment of more than $8 million in the far southeast of Columbus near Bryce Road. The agreement is a 75% abatement on the increased value of the property taxes collected at the site following the construction of the 2 buildings for a period of 10 years. These facilities are expected to attract 20 new full-time permanent positions in the city with hourly salaries of $16.83. We have 1 speaker against the ordinance, Mr. Joe Motil. If you could please approach the podium. And when you get there, if you could please state your name and address and whether you have an affiliation.
Okay. President Klein, members of the City Council, Joe Motil. I reside at 167 West Cook Road in Columbus. The Benderson Development Company has been in business for nearly 70 years, is one of the largest real estate holding companies in North America. Has holdings and assets in the billions and employs roughly 8,000 people. So here we go again, giving tax abatements to billion-dollar corporations, such as the $10.4 million to UPS, $12.8 million to Big Lots, $8.5 million to Alliance Data Systems, $3.8 million to Huntington Banks, and development company Georgetown, who is this year's biggest winner of $68 million to Easton tax abatement. If this City Council passes the proposed tax abatement this evening, you will have successfully given away $144.8 million in the past 23 months. And that does not include the millions in income tax incentives to corporate Columbus while fattening their profit margins on the backs of Columbus taxpayers. Due to this company's abundance of wealth, this $1.8 million tax abatement, or $183,000 a year savings to a company like Benderson, will not even be detectable on their balance sheets. But it most certainly has an undeniable impact on reducing the revenues towards our children's education, which was clearly evident by the results of the state report card that showed the overall score of the Columbus School District with all D's and F's. Your tax abatement policies have also recently shown to have a clear impact on our Columbus school teacher salaries. Just last week, our teachers reluctantly approved a mere 1.5% and 1% increase in a 2-year salary agreement. Now, just how unjust is that? If you were teachers, how many of you would find that to be an acceptable offer? It wasn't too long ago that this City Council approved a 3-year contract to 2,500 city employees for a 2-year 3% increase and a 1-year 2% increase. One of the reasons for such disparity in these contracts is the fact that this City Council and our mayor are more concerned about increasing the income tax revenue of our general fund by using tax abatements than you are about reducing property tax revenues that pay for our children's education, teacher salaries, children with developmental disabilities, libraries, senior services, critical dollars to address this community's opioid crisis, and how sad and ironic to do so during National Recovery Month. So city revenues increase while being spent disproportionately throughout our neighborhoods and increasing city bureaucracy, while property tax revenues decrease. We property taxpayers share the burden of making up the difference due to your unnecessary corporate handouts, and to further sweeten these deals, council members and the mayor accept campaign contributions with open arms from tax abatement recipients, and the money flows unethically into your campaign committees. How can you be so blind and not see the negative economic and social impact these tax abatements are having on the people that you represent? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Thanks for your comments, Mr. Motil. You can have a seat. Thank you. Director Shoney, could you talk to us a little bit about the project, and particularly the neighborhood where this project takes place on the far southeast in the Bryce-Tussin corridor?
Sure. Thank you, Chair Brown, President Klein. The project takes place at the old Consumer Square, what was the Consumer Square shopping mall that has sat vacant for at least 10 years. It is a sea of concrete and weeds today. This will be the first new construction that has happened in that certainly on that site in at least a decade. These facilities will be flex warehouse and office, so they will be job creation opportunities, places for folks to find a job, earn a living wage. To clarify a couple things that Mr. Motil said, this is not a reduction in the current taxes that the schools are receiving. In fact, because of this deal, the school's revenue will go up. This is a 75% 10-year abatement, so for the next 10 years, the schools will receive 25% of the increase in revenue that they would have received if the project had gone forward and been unabated, which the project would not have gone forward, period, anyway. They would have received 100% of nothing without the abatement. Today, they're receiving 25% of the increased value that they would otherwise receive, and then after 10 years, they will get 100% of the abatement.
Okay, thank you. I would like to ask if my colleagues have any questions about the ordinance for the director, or for myself? Okay. Thank you. I would like to move for passage.
Brown, Brown, Hardin, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
We have a lot of speakers that I do want to allow to speak. I think we have 14 of them. So we're going to get through the agenda, and then I'm going to let everyone know the order in which that you've signed up to speak. And so in order to do that, we'd like to get through the agenda. So please try to respect the rules of council and not speak out from your seat, because I do want to allow all 14 speakers.
Thanks, President Klein. Our next ordinance in economic development is 2253-2017 to authorize the Director of the Department of Development to enter into a dual-rate jobs growth incentive agreement with Valhalla Holdings Incorporated, WODA Constructions Incorporated, Valhalla Personnel, and the WODA Group for a term of up to 5 consecutive years in consideration of the company's proposed capital investment of $2.5 million, the retention of 60 jobs, and the creation of 100 new full-time permanent positions with an annual payroll of approximately $5.15 million. Valhalla Holdings is the parent company for a group of affordable housing companies specializing in affordable rental housing. They plan to consolidate their Central Ohio operations by relocating and expanding their headquarters from Westerville to the Brewery District. As mentioned, the move represents a capital investment, the retention of jobs, and the creation of 100 new jobs. This JGI incentivizes the hiring of City of Columbus residents by offering a greater percentage discount on future income tax withholdings for new employees who are Columbus residents. Is there anything you'd like to add, Director Shoney?
Thank you, Chair Brown, members of council, President Klein. Very excited about this project. WODA has been a great partner of ours in the affordable housing space. Most recently, they started moving forward with the Livingston Avenue Senior Project. Typically, we don't do a lot of deals like this, but we're excited about this one. The other thing I would point out is they are moving from Westerville. None of the jobs that are currently located in Westerville will be counted toward the abatement, nor will those income taxes be abated. We are sticking with our longstanding policy of not incentivizing jobs that are moving within the region. However, those jobs that are new and over and above what currently exists within the region are the jobs that will be incentivized.
Okay, thank you. Questions from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Brown, Brown, Hardin, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Thanks, President Klein. That's all I have in economic development, but I do have one piece in education, if I may move to education. We have ordinance 2257-2017 to authorize Columbus City Council to enter into contract with Reading Holiday Project, Incorporated, to renew and expand support of the Barbershop Books program, and to authorize an appropriation and expenditure within the Neighborhood Initiative Sub-Fund of $20,750. I am happy to partner with Councilmember Hardin for the second year to provide this continued support for the Barbershop Books program. Increasing access to books and establishing a love of reading early in life through programs like this can have a profound and positive impact throughout a child's education and life. Councilmember Hardin, I want to thank you for bringing this opportunity forward last year. I know we worked with Councilmember Page, and Councilmember Stenziano has co-sponsored this year. I want to thank you for your leadership in establishing and supporting the program, and see if you'd like to add anything.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown, and certainly thank you to Councilmember Stenziano and all the council members for supporting this important program. Last year, Councilmember Brown and I partnered with Columbus City Schools to start the Columbus Barbershop Books Initiative. We placed 10 reading stations and 150 books in barbershops across Columbus. As many of you know, there is persistent literacy gap for Black male school children, particularly in low-income parts of our city. The goal of this program was to help create safe, positive spaces for reading in Black and brown neighborhoods. During the course of this program, we tracked our success. The program reached just over 30 young people per barbershop per week. According to Barber evaluation survey, 73% of boys were never reading in their shops before the program. After the barbershop program, barbers reported that 91% of either see boys reading daily or almost every day in their shops. Recognizing this program's success, we decided to expand this program to 30 shops in total this year. Again, I want to thank Columbus City Schools, my colleagues on council, and the barbers who are willing to try a new approach to help kids in our neighborhoods. At this point, I would like to invite Mr. Lamont Evans to the podium. Mr. Evans is the CEO and founder of Unique Image Barber Salon, as well as the admissions coordinator at the Ohio State College of Barber Styling. Mr. Evans, could you speak about your experience with the program this year and how folks can be engaged? We are trying to fill out those extra 20, those new 20 barbershops that will offer this program in. I think we have a couple more slots. I heard that we have maybe 2 or so slots left. Would you let folks know how they can get information on this program?
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me, President Klein, members of council. First, I'd just like to say that the Barbershop Books program is an excellent program. Being a participant of it last year, we saw a lot of kids reading books. Typically, as a barbershop owner, you know, we think about magazines, sports magazines. We usually kind of cater to adults. So when Columbus City School came to us and told us that they wanted to partner with us to create reading spaces in the barbershops for the kids, we were all on the board with that. We currently have right about 30 barbershops that are interested in participating in this program for another year. We do need a couple of more barbershops in the program. If anyone listening, any barbers that may be listening, if you're interested in joining the program, just contact me. You can reach me at 614-732-6661 or my email, lamont703@gmail.com. And you know, barbershops, we've always been a cornerstone of the community. You know, we do a lot of things in the community. We work with little kids from the age of 2 and 3 years old all the way up until we're cutting their kids. So we actually grow up with the families. During a lot of those times, we provide advice, we provide mentorship, a lot of guidance. And so when kids see that we have barbershop books in the shops and that they can read them, they're excited about it. You know, it's in an unconventional space. It's not like going to a school where some kids may, you know how it is sometimes. You know, kids may go to school and don't want to go to school, but in the barbershop, they can still get those skills of reading. And, you know, the barbers are really excited about being a part of this program. So I would be real gracious, and I speak on behalf of all the barbers in our network and our local barber association here in Columbus. We definitely want to see this program continue. We appreciate Columbus City Schools and Columbus City Council for even thinking about sponsoring this event or this program. So hopefully we can get this passed.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Do any of my colleagues have any comments for Council President Pro Tem Tyson?
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to certainly my council colleagues who are sponsoring this legislation. Thank you for your leadership. But I also want to say thank you very much to you and to the barbers that are working with our children, as you said, from 2 or 3 years old until they become adults, you're taking care of their children. So just thinking outside the box is what this is. Mm-hmm. And again, just appreciate what you're doing to help make sure that our kids have an opportunity to get the skills that they need to be successful in life. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Again, just echoing Councilmember Tyson, President Pro Tem Tyson's comments, we appreciate, we know the importance of barbershops in our community. It's a safe place, it's a place where we go to learn, and we all look up to our barbers. So having you and the other 29 barbers encouraging reading for our young people is greatly appreciated, and look forward to this expansion. Thank you, Mr. Evans.
Thank you.
The program wouldn't be possible without the support of Columbus City Schools. As part of the program, we're not just putting the books into the barber shops, but we're also tracking the data along each month, as well as providing referral books. We encourage students or young people to take the books home with them, and then we refill the books for them. And for that piece of the contract, Columbus City Schools is partnering with us. And I would like to ask Alicia Gilson, Chief Academic Officer, to approach the podium if she is here. Or Ms. Marcy Drafts. If not, Columbus City Schools, I apologize. I had Miss Alicia Gillison, but could you just give me your name? I apologize.
Yes, Marcy Drafts, one of the executive directors of Columbus City Schools.
Thank you so much.
And I am filling in for Ms. Gillison, as well as filling in for Dr. Keisha Hunley-Jenkins, who is the director of the program. And I'm here representing Columbus City Schools, and just to reinforce what the gentleman who spoke before me, Councilmember Harden and President Klein and members of the council. So just to reinforce is that it's an excellent opportunity for our young people to see images of themselves and to recognize that reading goes beyond just inside the classroom. And so it's a way to connect and build relationships. And so we are thankful and proud to have this partnership with the Barbers and as well as the City Council. We're monitoring. We had over an average of 1,200 young readers were touched by the program this past year. We're excited. We're going to be kicking this off in October, another year, and we have a long-term plan of 5 years. So we want to continue to grow. We recognize the partnerships and ultimately the impact that it's had on our young people in reading.
Thank you, Ms. Traff.
Thank you.
And with that, I'll turn the legislation back over to Councilmember Brown. Again, I appreciate everyone's support on the program. We look forward to tracking again and collecting data in this second year of the program and seeing if we can continue to expand the program and reach more of our young people. Thank you, Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Councilmember Harden. Are there any other comments from our colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Brown, Brown, Harden, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
That's all I have in my committees, President Klein.
Thank you, Chair Elizabeth Brown. The next committee is Public Service and Transportation. It's chaired by Councilmember Harden. Chair Harden, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. This evening in Public Service and Transportation, we have Ordinance 2141-2017 to authorize the Director of Public Service to modify an existing contract with IPS Group, Inc. to provide single-space parking meter mechanisms, annual meter management components, and services for the city's parking meter program, and to authorize the expenditure of $695,700 from the Parking Meter Program Fund and to declare an emergency. I'm asking Director Gallagher to speak on this sole source contract or piece of legislation for us this evening.
President Klein, Chair Harden, other members of council, this contract with IPS will allow us to continue managing, servicing, and repairing the 4,000 parking meters we currently have in the city of Columbus. The parts and supplies for these are only proprietary to the IPS group, and therefore we are asking you to allow us to sole source and move forward with this legislation.
Director, what year are we into this contract with IPS? Do we expect it?
4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as long as we continue to have these meters, we will need to continue to do this, but we will come back to council each time that we need to do that.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Brown, Brown, Harden, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Passed. That's all I have in my committee this evening.
Thank you, Chair. The next committee is Recreation and Parks, chaired by Councilmember Jiza Page. Page, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Klein. This evening in Recreation and Parks, we have Ordinance 2256-2017 to authorize a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $15,457,000 from the unappropriated balance of the Recreation and Parks Grant Fund to the Recreation and Parks Department for the operation of various grant programs administered by the Central Ohio Area Agency on Aging and to declare an emergency. I am co-sponsoring this ordinance with Councilmember Stenziano. And again, this is one of our pieces where we are being a pass-through and providing those funds to COAAA. They continue to provide amazing services to our aging residents, and this money specifically will continue with the home meal delivery, transportation assistance, and housing assessments, as well as partner 120 volunteers with 140 people in nursing homes to support the volunteer guardian program. Councilmember Stenziano, do you have any additional comments?
Thank you, Chairwoman Page. Just very briefly, the work of myself and friend Ryan and you all with Age Friendly Columbus, we know how important COAAA remains to be, and so I appreciate the ongoing leadership and ability to support their efforts and programs for so many residents in Central Ohio.
Thank you. Are there any additional comments from my colleagues? We do have one speaker speaking for this ordinance. If Mr. Nathaniel Wilkins could please come down to the podium. Mr. Wilkins, you have 3 minutes, and if you could let us know why you are supporting this ordinance and any organizations you are representing. Thank you, and again, welcome to council.
Chairman, solely vacant property in North Linden area, Mr. Lathan George Wilkins. I just would like to see more money to be utilized for this, up to $20,000. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilkins. If there are no additional questions or comments, I move for passage.
Second.
Ms. Brown? Ms. Brown?
I don't know what I did.
Nothing to lose but our change. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. We have nothing to lose but our chains. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. We have nothing to lose but our chains. It is our duty. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. To fight for our freedom. We have nothing to lose. We have nothing to lose but our chains. It is our duty. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. To fight for our freedom. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. And so, Council President, we have patiently waited, and I refuse to let you vote on another $300,000 to go to Vance in Linden that don't do nothing for that community. And so you want us to sit here and let you vote for something that will continue to oppress my people. And so this baby's gonna speak.
Good afternoon. My name is Sanaya. I'm 12 years old, and I live in Columbus. I am here to speak about Timothy Davis. Last night I watched a video where the police followed Timothy Davis into the store, locked the doors, and beat him out of his clothes. It made me feel a lot of things, sad, angry, and upset. It also made me feel unsafe because it was up the street from our neighborhood, and because he could have died. It also made me feel unsafe for myself and everybody in my neighborhood because it feels like anything could happen to people who are close to me. I don't think that anyone should be treated like that. Police should be here to protect people, not hurt us. If I was in trouble, if I was in trouble, I wouldn't call the police because I don't think they would help. I would be afraid that I would get hurt. Right now, I'm worried about whether Timothy Davis is okay. I feel like this is my business because he is black and powerful.
Black and powerful.
The police wouldn't like it if someone like that The police wouldn't like it if something like that happened to their family or friends. The police took it too far, beating him out of his clothes. I feel like they could have handled it differently by telling him what was going on and putting him in handcuffs. I want to ask for justice for Timothy Davis because of the way he was treated. also don't think what happened to Timothy Davis should happen to anyone else. I need you to solve this problem and make sure we have justice.
And he taught us how to fight. And we gon' fight all day and night until we get it right. What side are you on, my people? What side are you on? What side are you on, my people? What side are you on?
Brown, Brown, Hardin, Page, Stinziano, Tyson, President Klein.
6 will now come to order. We'll now go to the Zoning Committee. Chair Page, you chair that committee. All members serve. The floor is yours.
Thank you, President Klein. Before beginning our zoning agenda,
I'm sorry, Chair. We got to call the roll on the meeting. So, clerk, call the roll.
Brown, Brown, Hardin, Page, Stinziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Okay, please.
Thank you, President Klein. Before beginning our zoning agenda, I'll briefly explain the rules of council. As pertaining to speaking before council on zonings and variances, we permit 3 speakers on each side, 3 proponents, and 3 opponents, and we ask that they limit their remarks to 3 minutes on each side, and we provide an opportunity for rebuttal from the applicant. On the advice of the City Attorney's Office, we ask that anyone here this evening who wishes to speak either for or against any council variance, including staff, please stand and raise your right hand to be sworn in. I swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. Please answer, I will.
I will.
Thank you. 1703-2017, to rezone 7099 Harlem Road 43081, being approximately 76.93 acres located on the west side of Harlem Road, approximately 1,300 feet north of Central College Road, from R Rural District to PUD 4 Planned Unit Development District. The applicant is Simonello's Incorporated. The proposed use is a single and multi-unit residential development. The City Department's recommendation is approval. Rocky Fork Blacklick Accord Implementation Panel's recommendation is approval. Are there any additional comments from staff? Is the applicant present and like to make any additional comments? If there are no questions or comments from my colleagues, I move for passage.
Second. Brown, Brown, Hardin, Page, Stinziano, Tyson, President Klein.
2337-2017, to grant a variance from the provisions of sections 333302, AR12, ARLD, and AR1, apartment residential district use, 331225, maneuvering, 333309, area requirements, 333311, ARLD, area district requirements, 333318D, building lines, 333322, maximum side yard required, 333323, minimum side yard permitted, and 333335GH, private garage of the Columbus City Codes for the property located at 1018 Neal Avenue, 43201, to permit a 2-unit dwelling with reduced development standards in the ARLD apartment residential district. The applicant is Juliette Bullock. The proposed use is a 2-unit dwelling. The City Department's recommendation is approval. Victorian Village Commission's recommendation is approval. Are there any additional comments from staff? Is the applicant present and would like to make any additional comments? Are there any questions from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second. Brown, Brown, Hardin, Page, Stinziano, Tyson, President Klein.
2338-2017, to grant a variance from the provisions of sections 3332-039 R4 residential districts, 3312-49 minimum numbers of parking spaces required, 3325-801 maximum lot coverage, 3325-805 maximum floor area ratio, 3332-15 R4 area district requirements, 3332-19 fronting, 3332-25 maximum side yards required, 3332-26 C1 minimum side yard permitted, and 3332-27 rear yard of the Columbus City Codes for the property located at 2060 Toller Street, 43201, to permit 2 single-unit dwellings on 1 lot with reduced development standards in the R4 residential district. The applicant again is Juliet Bullock. The proposed use is 2 single-unit dwellings on 1 parcel. The City Department's recommendation is approval. University Area Commission's recommendation is approval. Are there any additional comments from staff? No comments from the applicant. If there are no questions or comments from my colleagues, I move for passage.
Second.
Brown, Hardin, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Thank you, President Klein. That's all we have in zoning this evening.
Thank you, Chair. Any other business to come before the Zoning Committee? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn regular meeting 46? Clerk, call the roll.
Brown, Hardin, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Can I get a motion to reconvene regular meeting number 45? Clerk, call the roll.
Brown, Hardin, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
We ended Recreation and Parks. Chair Page, you chair that committee. You have read 2256, 2017. The floor is yours if you're ready for a vote.
Thank you, President Klein. Please do the vote again.
We've had our speaker, and so we're ready for a vote, a voice vote.
If there are, again, I read before I recess ordinance 2256-2017, and if there are no questions or comments, I would like to move for a passage by voice.
Clerk, call the roll by voice.
Ms. Brown? Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Hardin? Yes. Page? Yes. Stenziano? Yes. Tyson? Yes. President Klein.
Yes, legislation passes.
Thank you, President Klein. And I do have one piece in rules and reference, if I may move to that. Ordinance 2242-2017 to amend the University District zoning overlay in order to correct an administrative error by enacting new section 3325-809 entitled Landscaped Area and Treatment. And just to reiterate what will be changed, the section to be added, which is identical to previous code language, requires that at least 10% of the lot area be planted and maintained with grass and/or live vegetation and located behind the most rear portion of the principal residential building. This requirement will apply only to the R2F and R4 zoning districts of the University District that lie outside of the neighborhood commercial and regional commercial sub-areas, and that will be the change. Are there any additional comments from Director Messer? If there are no questions or comments from my colleagues, I move for passage.
Brown, Hardin, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Passed.
Thank you, President Klein. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Chair. The next committee is Public Utilities, is chaired by Councilmember Stenziano. Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Klein. Tonight in Public Utilities, we bring forward Ordinance 2182-2017 to authorize the Director of Public Utilities to enter into a planned modification of the Professional Construction Management Services Agreement with URS Corporation, Ohio, for the Division of Water, to authorize a transfer and an expenditure of up to $3,957,000 within the Water General Obligations Bond Fund, and to authorize an amendment to the 2017 capital improvements budget. This ordinance authorized the Director of Public Utilities to increase and extend the service agreement with URS Corporation, Ohio, which provides cost-effective construction management, field representation, inspection, testing, instrumental control design, integration, and support services for the Division of Water. All of these functions are tied to the economic vitality of the service area. If there are no questions or comments from my colleagues, I move for passage.
Brown, Hardin, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
Next, I have Ordinance 2381-2017 to authorize and direct the Director of Public Utilities to enter into a loan agreement for an Ohio Energy loan with the Ohio Development Services Agency to authorize the issuance of a limited tax general obligation promissory note in an amount not to exceed $2 million for the purpose of financing costs associated with converting the city's existing streetlight system to LED equivalents, to authorize the payment of $24,200 for the city's cost share and loan fees from the Power Operating Fund, to transfer $24,200 between object classes and the Electricity Operating Fund, and to amend the 2017 capital improvements budget and declare an emergency. This loan will provide $2 million in partial funding for the city's streetlight modernization project, which intends to replace the majority of its existing 52,853 streetlight fixtures with LED equivalents over several years. These upgrades would occur throughout the city's artery roadways, neighborhood streets, downtown Central District, and bridge underpasses. To convert all the city's current streetlights to LED, it would cost approximately $40 million, potentially yielding $2 million in annual energy savings. Based on funding availability, the city does intend to pursue pursue the conversion in several stages over multiple years. Additional future funding from the Ohio Energy Loan Program may provide additional resources for the city to use each year as well. If there are no questions or comments from my colleagues, I move for passage.
Second.
Brown, Harden, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
That's all I have in my committees tonight, President Klein.
Any other business to come before council? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn? Clerk, call the roll.
Brown, Harden, Page, Stenziano, Tyson, President Klein.
We stand adjourned. We do have non-speaker slips, non-agenda speaker slips.